So this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions have the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest. We state for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finish speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. You'll also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that calling users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment. Madam Chair, back to you.
Great, want to call the roll?
Wilson? President. Roca? Present. Holder?
Present.
Dave.
Present.
Here we have one.
Excellent. Do you want to start with any postponements or dismissals?
And Madam Chair, we received this one later on Friday. That's why this wasn't sent to you. It's request from the City Planning Commission. Not sure if Mr. Bay would like to present that to you.
Yes, Madam Chair, Xavier Bay, City Planning. After discussing this case with the neighborhood planner, they mentioned that we'd like to seek postponement to allow for a design review to take place. It seems like the application for demo and reconstruction was on the same application. I think it caused mix-up in the process.
And what case are we talking about?
This is 24105. The address is 4724 Memphis Avenue.
Is the appellant here?
Yes. I'm very confused.
Right, because we have council here as well.
So,
So this is 24105 and 4724 Memphis.
correct.
So city planning is requesting a postponement.
We've been through city planning and approved. We've been through local design review and approved. You're less. So this
Okay.
was our next step. So now I'm confused as to why we're backtracking.
Okay. Mr. Bay, can you fill us in on that?
Yeah, so from my understanding, it seems like just the demolition was reviewed. Are you aware?
The building was demolished about 2 years ago. The basement walls had collapsed and the roof had collapsed.
I'm sure we should probably have everyone sworn in if we're going to.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Do you want me up there?
Yes, so we'll have the parties for this case come forward. Since we have some discussion to go through. Anyone else for this case? All right,
Madam Chair,
yes,
sorry to interrupt, but I was just speaking with the zoning administrator for building and housing.
Yes.
Shannon Leonard. She did have some comments about the process and where it stands. Which you might want to make that comment.
okay, let me go ahead, we'll go ahead and swear them in and then we'll take your comment. Okay, so, all right, Ms. Wilson, you want to go ahead?
Absolutely, I will swear you in, you swear or affirm that you will uphold truth and nothing but truth. Raise your right hand, I what I do, give us your name, spell your name, state your address.
I do. Gary Fisher, GARY-FISCHER, 554 West Main Street, Laredo.
I do, Chris Harsh, KRISHRSH, 601 Links.
Okay, I think as long as we're taking testimony, we better do history and legal standard. Yeah. We'll do this.
Our first case is calendar number 24-105. This is at 4724 Memphis Avenue. Parkway Plaza LLC owner proposes to demolish an existing structure and erect a 9,133 square foot 6-tenant retail space and 23 space parking lot in a C1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the state codified ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 5. We already did the other.
Super, all right. Let's do history and legal and then we'll go ahead and
I'm sure we have very little on this property. It was originally zoned general retail in 1929. 1985 was changed to local retail business district. In our records administration office, we found that in 1939, a permit was issued to repair fire loss for the commercial building. And then we see in 2022, there was a commercial building permit issued. And that's all that kind of, that's still, I think, is the actual building permit that we're speaking of today.
Yeah, so that's another issue.
Okay, let's just do legal real quick and then we'll go ahead and take testimony. Mary?
And the chair, members of the board, Paul is requesting area variances from the front yard, side street, transition strip, and driveway requirements of zoning code. To obtain the area variances, Paul must prove that denying them consequent create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intention of the
Great, thank you. Okay, Ms. Leonard?
Yeah, good morning, Shannon Leonard. So this was a permit came in 2022 for demolition and then new construction because when it had got to design review, it had already been demolished. And so I think there was a transition, as you know, we lost a lot of planners and gained new planners. And there was some confusion when this permit went through that this was demolition, and I believe they went through design review conceptually and was given a lot of feedback to bring the building towards the front to be in alignment with citywide goals with walkability. And then those things, they approved the demolition, but the demolition and the new construction should have been on two different permits. So building and housing requires different permits for those. So essentially a 2022 permit, they thought it had gone away, I believe, and then it just revived itself here in March in 2024.
Okay.
And so what planning is asking is to say, hey, before you guys go on about granting these variances, let us maybe help the applicant become more compliant with the code. Please send them back to design review for the new construction.
Okay.
Because the new construction didn't go through the full board planning commission, which is required for new construction.
Okay,
Because there is no, originally this application is for an addition. There's nothing to add to it because it's been completely into it.
right,
So there was confusion in that.
okay. Yes, Mr.
Okay,
Fisher?
we have been through Near West Design Review several times. And we've also been through City of Cleveland Planning Commission, we got approval 2 months ago.
I believe there was some confusion around that. For the reasons of the confusion with the neighborhood planner and director, they've asked.
Okay, all right. So the request is coming through from the director of city, essentially, okay? Do you have any comment, Councilman Hunter? Okay. Any discussion, board? Anything else? Okay, all right.
May I just add a couple?
Yes, sir.
So as far as the questions that were asked, in the zone letter, we've responded to all of those and have worked with local design review. And those are the things that were reviewed by the planning commission as well. So we've moved things and changed, certain things on the building. It does sit towards the back still, but we've eliminated like the 2-foot offset for the driveway coming in. Those are now 15 feet. We've moved the building farther off the rear property line.
Have you resubmitted that site plan to building and housing?
Yes, yeah, it's been there for several months.
Okay.
Does that change your situation at all?
No, it's planning, there seems to be a confusion between the demolition and the new
Okay.
construction, so I think they
Can
need
you
to-
be direct contact with Mr. Fisher then to?
You can contact me or Xavier.
Okay.
Xavier, director.
All right, okay. So we'll have you, probably better to have you in touch with Mr. Bay.
Okay.
We're gonna get you, how long do you anticipate,
Okay,
I
Madam
think we're
Chair.
conferring on schedule.
Ms. Leonard stated that the next planning commission would be August 16th. And we could get them on the August.
Perfect, okay. All right, so, we'll get you processed through, so you see them on the 16th. We'll have you back on the 19th.
Okay,
Then you should be able to handle it.
Okay, thanks so
Okay.
much.
Mr. Bay will give you contact information. Calendar number 24-105 has been postponed at the request of city planning to August 19th. Okay. All right, now, let's go to 24-106. Do we have Mr. Sistemus with us? Either in person or online? Or anyone from licensing?
Present from License and Assessments.
Okay. Excellent. Have you heard from Mr. Sistemus?
Not in regards to this hearing, no.
All right. All right, we can't proceed without an appellant, even though this is his third year back for us.
Madam Chair, I'll have staff.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Bay, any other council people with us?
I do not see any other council people online.
Great. All right, who do we have here for 24-104?
I am. Want to do this
Okay.
customers first?
I'm gonna have you go ahead and come up to the table, sir,
Okay.
while we're waiting to see what's going on with, this other case. Next.
I guess if she could see them. Is it AOL? No.
Yeah, man, you could announce his name again and see if he.
Okay.
But you don't see his name.
Not yet.
All right, we're looking for, John Sistemus for calendar number 24-106.
This is LaRonda. I just spoke to him and he's coming through the garage right now as we speak through Willow
Okay.
Garage.
All right, we're gonna move on then, and then we'll bring you up, once he arrives.
Okay,
Thank you for that update.
you're welcome.
Okay. We'll proceed then with calendar number 24-104. Like to read.
Our next case is calendar number 24-104. This is at 16205 Delray Avenue. Constance Boykins, owner, proposes to erect a 12-foot by 17-foot, one-story frame living space addition to an existing single-family residence in the A1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Yes, so sir, I will commit this for you, and to swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You will raise your right hand, verify what I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Mr. Domo. This is 2445.
And spell your name.
I see. Don.
You repeat that, please, a little
The
louder.
last name?
Yeah, our court reporter is online today.
So it's PTRDO.
Okay, super.
And the contract.
You're the contractor. Okay, super. Do we have a letter on file saying that you can speak on behalf of the homeowner?
I do not see.
I have a contract, I want better. It's the same as what I have.
Give that to Ms. Kukla. I mean,
It's the number.
Generally, we do have them sign the authorization form. Usually it needs to be notarized as well. So we could proceed and then.
Right,
Or
exactly,
it's fine. So,
because the contract is in order, correct? Okay. All right, so what we'll do, sir, is we'll proceed with your case. But what you'll need to do is submit to Ms. Kukla, our secretary, a letter from the homeowner indicating that you are authorized to speak on her behalf, and it does need to be notarized. Okay? All right, so, we'll go ahead and take the history of the property then.
Sure, thank you. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. Our Records Administration Office was founded in 1946. Permit was issued to erect a two-story, single-family home. 1978, a chain link fence was erected on the property. Maybe in 1995, there were alterations made to the property regarding electrical, plumbing, residential, and HVAC. And that is all that I have. Oh, there are also new variances on file. That's all that I have. Thank you much.
Super, thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Aldermen is requesting an area variance for the minimum required interior side yard requirements in the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the applicant has pleaded that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Super, thank you. All right, sir. You are seeking a variance for the interior side yard, which is to be 10 feet, and you're proposing 6 foot side. Do you want to tell us what the situation is?
Yeah, well, the house is built on the seven, as you said, and we're going to make the side like 6 inches. I'm not living in the property line, her house, instead of what, it's the Brooklyn that we submitted. It's within the house builder side, I'm not going out. And the neighbor doesn't, they got bigger additions.
So you're staying within the side yard footprint of the building and
Yes.
just expanding
But-
to the rear.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Are these the plans that we have, Xavier?
Correct, Madam Chair.
You go back on one, please? Yeah, okay, you see that it's 7 buildings on here, on the side of the.
So you have a setback
Yes.
on that side?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that dimension between the lot line to the side of the addition? It looks like
6, 7?
6, 7.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so that's what we have.
Yeah.
All right, so that matches. Okay. And could you tell us the reason this is,
But this-
the
this
addition is being built?
It's like a local date, she's she's a one-story person, she's older. She wants to have a treatment, she will do it. Is that even a problem in this room? I will ask, but it's.
Okay, so she's older, so this is what we would call an aging in place addition
Yes.
for her then? Okay, all right.
I've been ready, I'm half back from this. But I can actually. But I didn't know that, and they, well, I feel in the Lord of Movement, and look at that, the case, and then,
Okay,
you know, right together.
going through the process,
Yes.
yeah,
Right together, right.
okay. And this is just a one-story addition? What's the square footage that you're adding? Yeah, 204, okay. I don't want to forget that.
No. This.
Yeah. Okay, all right. We'll go down the line. Questions? Nothing from Ms. Roca, Ms. Wilson, anything? That's it. All right, Ms. Olson? All right, I'll entertain a motion then.
Based on the testimony that we have heard, I move that we approve calendar number 24-0.
Okay, second?
We want the, condition of the
Yes.
authorization.
Yes, that needs to be.
So the friendly amendment that, the motion has the condition, or we're adding in the condition that a notarized authorization letter, stating that you can speak on behalf of the owner be submitted. And I will submit.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Olson, for the second. We'll call the vote.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Olson?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-104 is granted. We will hold it until we receive that letter. Have an email address for you. The
Yes.
express instructions. We can send that form to you. You can actually email it back to us.
So you send it out, as soon as you send it out, secretary, print it out, and pick it up.
You have to get that letter to us before we can ratify it.
Yeah, but I need to get this one.
Okay. Yeah. Once you get that letter to us, then we can go ahead and ratify it, and then you can get what you need from us.
Good.
That's the way it works.
Yes.
Okay? All right, super. You as well. All right, Mr. Sipsma? Morning. All right. Ready?
All right. Our next case is calendar number 24-106. This is administrative appeal regarding the denial of John's Hot Dog Center license. Number LUMF 2-00013. John Sissimus, also known as John's Hot Dogs owner, appeals under the authority of section 76-6 of the Charter of Cleveland and section 329.02D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances. To dispute the decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses to deny vendor license LUMF 24-00013 based upon input from the Councilman Terry McCormick. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the vote.
I'm going to swear you in, to swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Raise your right hand, reply what I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. I believe we have someone online wishing to speak in this matter. You can go ahead and swear it, please.
LaRonda Talton Morris, Assistant Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses, TALTON-MORRIS, 601 Lakeside Avenue. I do.
Thank you.
Super. All right, I think we do have to read the legal standard for this.
Standard of review to be applied is whether the administrative decision was illegal, arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable, or unsupported by the preponderance of substantial, reliable, and appropriate evidence. The appellant fails to meet this burden, the administrative decision is favor.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sissimus, this is our third anniversary with you. Okay, has anything changed in the since the previous 2 years?
No.
Okay. Ms.
Talton was fine.
Benefit. I'm Ms. Talton, and you've added Morris.
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
So are congratulations in order, or have you just changed how you're being addressed?
Half congratulations, half changed. It just took me a while to get around to changing it.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So for the benefit of our board members that haven't been here for the previous hearings with Mr. Sissimus, do you want to bring us up to speed?
Sure. Mr. Sissimus has been applying for this location. I'm not exact. I'm going to say for at least 5 years. In the midst of him applying and being denied, we had our engineering department, Bureau of Sidewalks, go out and actually measure the distance from the West Side Market and accurately place Mr. Sissimus. That was in 2022. Councilman McCormick, he still was not in favor of the hot dog cart. He stated that there were restaurants still in the area, but the sidewalk manager went out, he placed him in accordance to the ordinance. Unfortunately, Councilman McCormick still did not approve the cart. That was in 22, 23, and now we're here in 24 for the same reasons.
And let's just refresh everyone's memory on the location of where the cart is.
This cart is on the corner of West 25th and Lorraine. It's directly across from the West Side Market, adjacent to the Market Square Park. So
So
it
it's,
sits right on that corner.
it sits on the northwest quadrant of that intersection. And it's technically not in the park, right? It's on the public space.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. And as we know, the intersection of West 25th and Lorraine is a public transit hub with very close adjacency to West 25th rapid station.
Correct.
That's what I have a question about. Is it right near the bus stop on the Sweden?
Yes,
So to the right or left of the bus stop?
correct. Is that correct, Mr. Sismas?
Well, which bus stop, the one in Lorraine, the one
One on
Yeah, there's
West,
2 bus stops at that intersection.
yeah, the one on West 25th in the park, or right now.
that's the left. And you crossing over to go towards,
Not on the side of
One
West
Fifty
25th.
Park, going, with the left now. If I went from the 50 bus stop, with the left, and going towards across the street, going towards Park Avenue. Yeah. And then the one that's on Lorraine, that's right behind us, that's to the, or behind us to the right.
Okay, so you're in between the one on Lorraine and the one on West 25th.
Correct, right,
the park side.
and in the corner over there with the park walls.
Okay.
So, as, Ms. Tulton Morris mentioned, in 2022, we did have a field and, because this impacts, the gentleman's livelihood as cases that we've had, you know, with tow truck licenses, where livelihoods are impacted. We were careful to make sure that information was gathered, to either rule out or support, this. And, a field investigator was sent out to do measurements and to verify, the location and the distances from, the other restaurants.
And that new manager determined that it was in proper distance or?
Right. No, it is.
It is in proper distance. So
Yes.
this
Correct. Yes, it is.
is what?
It is in compliance with the ordinance for the placement.
We,
It is in.
yes, it is in compliance.
Have,
We do not know.
So, yeah, can we further rendering a decision on, administrative denial that presupposes that the administration has denied it? And I don't see a denial here, so I just think missing something. It was denied, it says denial of the vendor license.
Right.
But what's the basis of the denial, Ms. Talbot Morris?
The ordinance states that once we receive the application, hearing assessments and licenses, we have to forward it to Councilman McCormick. Councilman McCormick, he has 15 days to either approve it or deny it. He just responds and states that he denies the application without a reason.
Okay.
So,
And-
Ms. Tobin Morris, so is it a requirement of the code that the council person weigh in on these decisions?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And can you tell us which code section makes that requirement?
Codified Ordinance Chapter 241.37 is the requirements for the placement for, let's see, let me get the ordinance. Chapter 241.36C.
And Madam Chair, for the record, I made a councilperson up notified by paper, letter, as well as.
And refresh my memory and for the benefit of the other board members. I believe, also in 2022 and 2023, the councilman was also notified, and particularly in 2022, there was an effort made to reach out to his office to, get further information and reasoning behind the denial. And none was, correct? That's correct.
That is correct. I believe the last response that I received from Councilman McCormick's office regarding this situation was that there were restaurants in the area, but according to the inspection from the mayor's office of capital projects, there was, everything was in compliance to the restrictions. So he was in one place. They even pushed him back further to be 100 feet from the West Side Market.
Yes, Madam Chair, I did find a letter in file for 2022 from Councilman McCormick. He said that this one's pretty simple for section 241.37, section 5 of the code. This request was within 100 feet of food service businesses. That's why it was rejected. It's illegal. We wanted this appeal to be submitted to the court. 241.37, section 5. Within 100 feet of a food service business operating from a fixed and permanent location existing at the time of license issuance or renewal during the operation hours of such business. So he's quoting that code section to explain why he didn't.
Right.
And this was sent to us on July 11th, 2022. So that was for the 2022. We have nothing in our file for him for this.
Okay. And just for the record, Mr. Sisemus, what are your hours of operation?
Usually work between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. We get out in the field with the cart, and we stay there till about 4 o'clock, 4:30.
So we always like to go to the outside margin, so we're gonna say 9 AM to 4:30 to 5, we can say till 5.
That's 70.
6. So,
On Sunday. So Monday through Saturday.
unless there's an event going on or something's happening.
Yeah.
Usually Monday through Saturday.
Okay, any further questions or comments?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
I guess so legal standard is that we would find that the
Sorry. We're getting the door closed, so we'll get that background noise. So that, since we're online, so everybody's.
I know-
Go ahead.
within our jurisdiction to uphold the city's ruling in finding that it was not illegal or egregious or arbitrary, but also overrule and allow for the use. Is that what we are considering, or are we? Yes, because I don't know that the standard is met. I don't know that we are gonna find that the city's determination is illegal.
I think we heard from Ms. Thompson, who stated they did the measurement states that it is legal.
Exactly, he is within compliance.
Says he's compliance, well, that's illegal, you can't deny the application if it's in compliance.
Right,
Okay, that's the.
which is what we have done previously,
Okay.
I got it now.
okay? All right. So, motion, yes, Mr. One? Do you have language
I was
for,
just going to state that look at the councilman's portion of the review is also a component that's required. So you need the legal distance as well as approval, or correct me if I'm wrong, this helps. Those two things are required, so just to kind of clarify that. Even if it's legal, if it has legal distance, still that approval required.
There are two items. One, you have to be legal distance, and two, you have to have the councilman's approval.
Here,
Right.
it says.
But the councilman-
approval is required. I think the code says the councilman has to be notified.
Right.
He has the right to object in writing, which, that's fine, but I don't think his approval is required based on what I'm reading. So in my mind, we have evidence that it's in the proper distance, that makes it legal. We have notified the councilman, that also makes the action legal. So I think I would prepare to move that we. This is backwards. So we don't want the license to be denied, we want the license to be issued.
Correct.
So I would move that we do not affirm the decision of the commission.
Correct.
Did I
Yes.
articulate that?
Yes. All right. All right, so the motion is to not affirm,
Or overrule.
overrule.
Okay.
So I need a second. Board member will say a second. All right, super. Ms. Kukla, if you want to call the vote?
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Planner number 24-106 is granted. Decision of the city has been overruled, overturned. This decision will be ratified next Monday, and we can send you the letter, but please feel free to contact our office Wednesday for the instruction.
I know I asked this also last year about
I know.
notifying the councilman, and it's
I
not,
know.
you know, the time that I have to take out from not working and coming down with this. And like Ms. Roker was saying earlier too, you know, Ms. Wilson, of course, read the code of what it says here, because I am in compliance. That, you know, with the council having the decision to say yes or no, whether they're in compliance, that somehow we can understand, unless it's for other reasons, which it's not in the code, for me to keep coming and paying for the appeal to come down here. I mean, it's just something
We
where
understand.
it's been like 3 years now for the same one. And I mean, if I was illegal, if I was doing something that I'm not complied, of course I wouldn't be here now. But I mean, since I am complying and I am, you know, with all the jurisdictions, that somehow, you know, I think next year when I go through my renewals, that's due in March, you know, I'm gonna get that letter again. And I know, I mean, you can only, you know, do so much, and then it'll get in his hands.
Right. Understand, this is the third year I've seen you,
Yes.
you know, so, of the 6 that I've been on the board, so, you know, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
But at this point, the council person has not moved on his decision.
Change.
Right, Ms. Dalton Morris, do you have any, anything to add to this discussion? with
Well,
regard-
I've discussed it with our attorney just to see how do we proceed and to avoid Mr. Sissimus going through the same process on an annual basis. So I have spoken to the attorney and he's looking at some different options for this situation
All right,
and he'll get back to me.
super, great, all right.
And
So,
You'll hear Mary Ann's testimony.
oh, yes,
Was it Vishnu?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
all right. All right, so, stay in communication
Sure,
with Ms. Dalton Morris.
sure,
Sounds like they're trying to move forward on something, all right?
okay.
And as much as I enjoy seeing you, hopefully I won't. Yeah. All right? All right, thanks very much. Go sell hot dogs.
Thank you.
Thank you, thanks very much, appreciate it.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Moving on to calendar 24-107. Do we have anyone in the room for that? Right, if you want to step forward, ma'am. And we're gonna go ahead and read the case.
Our next case is calendar number 24-107. This is at 4117 East 93rd Street. Wanda Hammond Slaughter, owner, proposes to change use from a one-family dwelling unit to a type A daycare in a two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record of which there is one. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Ms. Wilson, I swear in on the present of this case, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand, reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. My name is Shonda Hammond Slaughter. It's spelled SHAWNDUHAMMONDS, and the address is 4117 East 93rd Street.
Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter? Okay, hearing nothing, back to you, Madam Chair.
Super, thank you. History of the property, please.
Madam Chair, there's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1901, the permit was issued to erect a two-story dwelling at this address. In 1911, a permit was issued to erect a garage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the forms. Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have the legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Aldermen is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain use variance, Paul must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship, particularly to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent for zoning. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by the neighbor buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Super, thank you. All right. Ms. Slaughter, would you like to tell us what you'd like to do as it relates to the zoning variance that you're seeking?
I'd like to continue to do my child care as a child care on my husband. And that's the reason why I'm here. I was approved for zoning back in 2008, but what happened was as during the approval process, they didn't advise me about the occupancy, so I wasn't aware of that. So now I'm here trying to get the occupancy of that building because only did approve it and county and state, but the problem was I didn't have a occupancy. And now I'm here requesting that it's the occupancy and that it's known as a center.
Okay, so how long have you been conducting a child care business in this?
Over 20 years, about 23 years.
Okay, so this has been an ongoing business for
Yes,
some
I
time.
have.
Okay. So. And how many children do you have in the center? You're a type A?
Yes. I have right now, I have about 5.
Five, all right. And you have no intention to expand that number?
Well, the state approved me they said that I'm approved for 12, but because I'm under a type A restriction, that I only have 12 here. And so I wanted the restriction to be lifted so I can get what the state said that I am eligible for 13. And that requires it to be labeled as a center.
Okay. And what are the ages of the children?
Birth to 12.
Okay. What are your hours of operation?
The hours of operation is from, 6 AM to 6 PM, but I am licensed under the fire department and state for 24 hours.
Okay. Do you have signage out front?
Only when I'm doing enrollment, I will put a sign out. But, once I'm pretty full to capacity or, it goes by my, from full to capacity or I'm just accepting certain amount of kids. Sometimes that's when I'll put a sign that, open enrollment
Okay.
and let folks know that,
All right. Do you reside at this residence?
yes.
Okay. Okay, question for it?
I'm sure I just follow up to your question. Are you the only person that resides, only adult that resides at the residence?
Yes.
And with respect to the occupancy permit, what is the desired occupancy?
The desire is to convert it to a center. I understand that once it becomes commercial, that I will not be able to stay there. So I do understand that, making plans and preparations to exit the, premises and just use it solely for childcare. I've been doing it for, over 23 years. I also am a gold, plus 5-star. It converted over to a gold star. I had served my community. I, feed the neighborhood. I do things for the neighborhood. I'm partners with Salvation Army. We're in partnership and we volunteer work with them. They assist me, like if I need parking space or if I have a little activity I want to do on their property, I can do that. And we have I have partners with them and also with the library. But we have it's a great community. My service is not just for me, but I do make outreach and I do service even my neighbors. A neighbor that has 8 kids, I help her with her kids in time of need when she needs help. I do a lot. I've been there, no complaint, and I would like to stay there. I would like it to be a commercial where it would be just childcare. I would not be residing in there. And all it requires that, which the state already approved it, I would just be able to keep 13 kids instead of 12.
All right, so 13 kids instead of 12, and then you would move out of the property.
Yes.
And then is there any other changes that need to happen to the property? But it's as is, okay?
Yes.
And then where does drop off occur?
It's in various places. It's on the side of the house. It's also in the park, in the driveway. So the sides and the driveway, we can drop off and pick up.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
we should make it clear that the applicant is not applying for commercial use today. She's only applying for type A. There's a difference. Ms. Leonard may want to.
Right, Leonard, she.
So type A and type B daycares are home-based daycares that are permitted in residential districts. Type A is generally first permitted in a multi-family district and allows them to 12. Anything above 12 becomes a daycare center, which is what she's referencing, and that's first permitted in local retail. The variance request here was to just turn it to establish the use of type A in a residential district. She would like to establish it as a daycare center. She will have to expand, like, I believe that has to be reposted because it's
Right.
later.
Right. When I applied for this, that's what I applied for it to be a center. And that's the fee that I paid for, and that's the reason why. But I was, so that they could see.
Yeah,
what it's about.
That's not what it's written up for.
It should have been written up there. I don't know what I can change it.
Yeah, Ms. Leonard is gonna check for you. Meanwhile, do we have any correspondence on this, Ms. Kukla?
No, I haven't speak.
Okay. Did you have any questions, Ms. Weiss? Ms. Holzer, any questions?
2 questions. So I have, your hours of operation is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Though your license is 24 hours. Are you operating Monday through Friday?
Well, at this moment. But I was just approved and I am able to operate, 7 days,
Okay,
24 hours.
all right.
So that my notes are correct. She said you're the only staff person.
No, I had 3 staff. 3 staff.
You're the only person residing
Yes.
and the only adult. Are there any other residents in the house?
No.
Okay, so just yourself. But 3 staff,
Yes.
okay.
So Madam Chair,
So the,
we would have to report it, that will be.
Right.
For today, the neighbors should be alerted to it, the public as well,
right,
proper channels that this is a first use.
yeah. Do you have anything else? Shannon?
Yeah, so the way that, I think there was confusion, and when you came to get the occupancy, like from 2008, I believe, and they brought you from, the records room to building a house and to make the application. It was one of those things where she just never followed through with the permitting process. It can be kind of cumbersome back in 2008, right?
Okay.
And so at that point in time, she was trying to establish it with the type A. And then your floor plan shows for only up to 12 children. And so that's probably where, even though it says commercial facility on here, I think the plans examiner saw 12 children in your floor plan. And so only wrote it up as a type A.
Right,
So
okay.
that would be the reason. But if you want to make it a daycare center, since you've been there and you pretty much already had a type A all these years, just never had the actual permit shown in your home, my recommendation would be to just have us re-adjudicate this and then you guys repost it.
Okay. So,
So that she can come back and actually get the full.
yeah, so dismiss today,
Dismiss.
Postpone it,
postpone it,
And
and
then
then
you
you,
update it.
you can update it.
and we'll repost something language.
All right, super, let's do that. I think that is the best use of her investment and her time.
So Madam Chair, if we could give a month. I'm not sure, maybe we should ask the board next time. We are full now on August.
What's the earliest that you can do it? Because we can get this.
We have anything on the 9th?
So, yeah, the 5th is next, the 12th, they're full. So we could squeeze them on since you've taken so much testing already
On the 5th?
on the 9th.
That's fine, doable for you? Okay, so,
So it's 3 weeks, but that's what.
okay, all right. So, the 19th then,
Yes.
that we can decide it? All right. All right, so we're gonna postpone you to the 19th. Do we need to give her anybody's contact information to help coach her through this process?
And examiner.
I used to be my contact with you.
So Ms. Leonard is the chief administrator. Okay, she's gonna share her contact information with you. She'll coach you through the process. We'll see you back on the 19th. We've taken testimony today. We'll have to go through anything that needs to be updated. All right, given the changes that are gonna occur. But it should go pretty quickly and we can, go ahead and adjudicate the case for you. Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Leonard's gonna give you her contact information, and she is the chief administrator, so, lost my voice over this. Okay, all right. You're welcome, thank you. All right, so calendar number 24-107 has now been postponed to August 19th. At the request of the planning department. Okay. On to 108. Calendar number 24-108. Do we have people in the room for that case? Yes. All right, we'll ask you all to come up to the table.
We missed him when he went to the bathroom. Oh, here he comes.
All right.
All right, our next case is calendar number 24-108. This is at 698 East 124th Street. RAL Property Management proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 5 occupants in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Hunter. I will swear in all who are present to speak in this matter. Is it just you two, or are you all gonna speak as well? Okay, yeah, you can grab your.
Pull your chair up, come join the party.
Microphones are here, so.
Yeah, and our court reporter, so you know, our court reporter is online today. So you want to be, when you speak, before you make any statement, even after we swear you in, you're gonna wanna state your name to the court reporter before you make your statement, okay? Be slowly, clearly, so she can get everything down, okay?
Right, I will go ahead and swear everyone in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? I have you raise your right hand, state your name, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address, and I'll start with you.
Forrestine Winston, FORESTIN, WINSTON.
Your address.
My address is, well, I'm here on behalf of my mom, who lives at 694 East 120. She also has a house across the street at 695 East 124th Street.
Okay, thank you. What are you next?
Linda Griffith, LINDA, GRIFFIN.
John Sheridan, 695 East 124th Street, LHNTURETO.
CURTON.
CURETO.
You say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do affirm. My name is Gerald Macon, ARRPLLRACA. I reside at 700 124. Cleveland, Ohio.
699 East 1. Ohio. Spell your name, Morgan.
Say the names again, please.
Marquetti, LBA, EGDI.
I do. My name is Jacqueline, that's JACQUELYN. EDDI. I reside at 699 East 124th. That's Cleveland, Ohio. 44108.
I do. My name is Susan Player. SUSIE, I reside at 687 East 124th Street. I've been here for 16 years, and my mother's home is really
Anyone else present to speak in this matter? I see a hand online.
I am actually, I'm sorry, I'm on Zoom. I am for the RL or at the actual group home. My name is Juanita Perryman. And I'm speaking on behalf of the owners.
Okay, we will have you swear in, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand and reply with I do. State your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. And this is Juanita Perryman. That's WAYNENITA PERRYMAN. And this is for the address at 698 East 124th Street.
Okay, thank you. Can you spell your last name again for the chair?
Yes, PERRYMAN.
Great, okay, thank you. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Super. Ms. Perryman, you're representing the appellant, is that correct?
Correct.
And are you part of the LLC?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that on file, Ms. Cooper?
We have an authorization letter from a person that's also a,
Okay. Great. All right, do you want to do history of the property then?
Sure, Madam Chair, there's been no change to zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1973, permit was issued to rehabilitate a single-family dwelling to correct code violations. And then in the more recent history, Madam Chair, in 2017, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating authorized use of the property as single-family. And then there was a rental registration issued to the property in 2022, and that was for 1 unit. Renting 1 unit. I think that's all that happened.
Okay. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellants requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by every land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you. All right, so you are all neighbors, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Cooper, do we have any correspondence?
No, actually, I didn't see any in the file.
Nothing from council?
No.
No. Okay, all right. Ms. Perryman, since you are speaking on behalf of the appellant, I need you to go ahead and tell us what you plan to do as it relates to the variances that you are seeking.
We plan to house seniors in the area. It would be between 1 to 5 unrelated adults. And the issue comes in that the structure is within 1,000 feet of another licensed group home.
Okay. All right, when you say seniors, you need to give us a little more demographic information. So, are these seniors of one gender, or is it co-ed? Are they veterans? Do they have mental health issues?
Yes, so it's typically going to be one gender. Will have male veterans that pretty much are unable to live on their own without support.
Will they have mental health issues, or?
No, it's not. We're not for a mental health society. It's just more so displaced veterans. And they could be displaced for a number of reasons, such as family issues, not having that lack of support, unable to find adequate housing. But it's just basically, and would I say seniors, there will be over the age of 55 veterans that are displaced.
Okay, so 55 plus, and we're talking 5, and how many staff members will you have on hand?
We'll have 24-hour staffing, and there'll be at least one person per shift.
and talk to us about how you intend to handle, distribution of meds.
So as far as distribution of meds, we are able, everyone, if there's like anyone that takes medication, we would assist with them taking medications, but we do not like distribute medications. No one is licensed. But pretty much the individuals that would be there, like I said, it's not anyone with like mental health issues or that would be under medications that require us to administer medications. There will be someone on staff that will assist with things like transportation to and from like the VA and different doctor's appointments, assist with getting them to any like benefits appointments they have or different things, and assisting with meals and laundry.
Are you preparing meals for them, or are you just helping?
Yes, someone will prepare meals for them.
Okay. 3 meals and a snack?
3 meals and 2 snacks.
3 meals and 2 snacks. Okay. All right, board, any other questions? Of Ms.
And staffing plans run from, the staffing plan is from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's someone on shift. From 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. there's someone on shift. And then from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
And Sharon, the one question I have is related to whether the adults will share rooms or whether everyone will have their own room.
There are 2 shared rooms and 1 single room.
And how many restrooms?
You said how many restrooms?
Yeah, how many bathrooms?
There's 1 restroom.
And have you had community meetings?
No.
No community. Do you have any plans for community outreach?
Yes, I did just speak with the councilman's office on Friday, and I'm expecting a call either the person that's over businesses and group homes in that area. She was out until they said Tuesday, and I'll be connecting with her this coming week.
Okay, so you actually at this point have not had a meeting in person or at least on the phone with the councilman?
No.
All right.
Just with his secretary.
All right, have you been in contact with the CDC? The Community Development Corporation for this area?
No.
All right, board, any other questions of Ms. Perryman?
Ms. Perryman, is this the only group home that your business operates at the moment? Or will be operating?
In the city of Cleveland, we have another that's on 131st, and we have one in Euclid as well. That's off of 200th Street.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bay, do we have a zone map showing where the other group home is in proximity?
Yes, Madam Chair, Xavier Bay speaking, City Planning. In the middle, you'll see a blue highlight where the property in question is 698 East 2024th Street. And so the buffer is this red outlined hatched circle. So you can see the nearest residential facility is up here on East 120th Street. Looks like there's 2 more, a couple of streets over, but it's only within the buffer of 1.
And, again, do we ask this question? We usually don't have an answer for it. Do we know the nature of that other group home?
We do not.
All right. Okay, folks. Ms. Winston.
Okay, my concern is about safety. Now, these, veterans, these men that can be sexual predators, they can be, drug addicts. My mom is 95 years old, and she lives right beside this group home, and I'm concerned about her safety as well as, you know, the neighbor's safety.
Which side does she live on? Is your mom looking at that?
The right time.
The right side as we're looking at this?
Yes.
Okay. My mom's 95.
She's 95 years old.
Okay. Has she lived there her whole adult life?
70 years.
70 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm also concerned about the decrease in the property values, because if something happens to her and or, you know, she comes to live with me, and we decide to rent that property out or sell it, who's gonna wanna live next to a group home?
Okay.
Depreciation of property value.
All right, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go down the line and we're gonna take your statements. And then we'll go back and see if the board has any other questions or details. Okay, so we'll go to you next.
Well, I stay right across the street,
And I have to remind you, to state your name before you make your statement.
Linda Griffin,
Thank you.
and I work with veterans. I work as a volunteer over here. They are. They, I have my grandkids over there. We just got rid of the common road street. Now we're bringing another.
In that same house. In that same, that same house.
So it's like, I come home late at night, so I don't wanna be out here and I gotta get out my car with my grandbabies and they're small, so I have to transfer them. And somebody's behind or he's out or anything, because you can't watch them all. And I work for the volunteers over there.
Okay.
They have been done for people to live in. That's part of this place.
Okay. Okay, John?
My name is John Gurton, and I stay in 695. I don't want the group home there because all my neighbors, I look out for everybody on that street. And them people coming there, I don't know what's going on with them because I protect my neighbors, this is my family member, all of these are my family members. And we look out for one another. And when we come together and with this group home coming in there, there's no, I mean, like, just like she said, that's going to decrease the property value. I mean, we all take care of each other, look out for one another, and we need to stick to that. We don't need this group home.
All right. Okay, go ahead, sir.
My name is Daryl Branch. I reside at 700 East 124th Street. On that photograph, it's the house directly to the left,
Okay, so you're right next door.
right next door. That's my birth home, but my neighbors here, we've been on that street 60 years or more. For some residents I know, Susie was there before I moved there, he moved there before. So, I take umbrage with openness, and I understand the legal document but where it says in section 5.71, and it describes what can be in there.
she's saying that it's a veteran thing. But I wanna know, what if down the road, do they notify you, they decide there's gonna be a halfway house for recovered ag? Will they have to notify you if they change, the type of people that are in here? My concern is also with, the property owner, they've owned this property for a while. And their track record is placing people in that home is not very good. If you can call get police records of the number of calls to that home, addressing issues from tenants that company put in that building, I have zero faith that there'll be any difference. I'm a veteran of the United States Navy. I'm served for 8 years. And I understand the plight of veterans, and I understand the need for veteran housing. It should not be placed in the middle of a residential areas. I'm concerned also with, it says here that it's a B1-2 family resident. That's never been a two-family home. It's always been a single-family home. And I don't know, how, if that's a two-family, then my home is a two-family. So I don't understand that. I just, like I said, I just have zero faith. Yeah, I have zero faith in the property management company based on the prior tenant. My mother is 100 years old. She's been in that home, all of my entire life except for the first 6 years. And I am concerned. If it is strictly veterans, I know veterans. I'm at the VA a lot. We can snap in a second. You know, some of us that just aren't, you may be homeless or displaced for a valid reason. You know, short of incarceration, that may be why you're displaced. We don't need that, nor do we want that opportunity for something to happen. And like I said before, and I just can't stress it enough, the police response to that home based on the past couple of tenants, it's just insane. There's gunplay, fight. I don't know what kind of vetting the company does as far as who they put in. I don't know how they're going to vet these potential veterans that are coming in. And like I said, zero faith. Thank you, Madam Chairman, for the time.
Thank you for your articulate statements. Sir?
Yes, my name is David Egan. I'm not big on speaking, but I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
$6.99. It's one of the important people alive. Lady on the right, I don't think you make things. People come in, they trying to change this property. I guess commercial use. Not necessary, it shouldn't be. Everybody around us like, so. And I don't think that what they're trying to do should be done. I don't know if it's side of the practice, whatever this should happen. But
Thank you.
My name is Jacqueline Egan. Mimi is my husband. We live in 699. Our house is directly across the street from this house. I grew up on the street. I got married, went away. My mom passed in 2015. I came back. I live there now. So I've basically been there my whole life also. Of course, I don't want it. This is a residential neighborhood. We keep each other informed, keep each other safe. My husband got this letter in the mail, didn't quite understand it, gave it to me. I read it. I said, oh, wow, no way. I called everybody. They said, I didn't get it. They start checking their mail. I found it. Nobody's seen it. I called everybody. I wanted more people to come here, but they couldn't have. They didn't have to go to work.
Or because we want to get up the hospital.
Right. Yeah, she would have been here. Absolutely. And This is very important to us. We all made time for this morning. I've been downtown and I don't know when. The last time I was here was for birth certificates for my children, and they're grown now. So this is very important to me. I really don't want this to happen on the 124th. I mean, we're not in the best neighborhood, but we're in a great neighborhood as far as our neighbors.
Well, it's apparent that there's a lot of fallow land surrounding. So,
And, you
which
know,
we see.
and I know everybody has to make a living, doing what they do and trying to please find somewhere else, not 24. You know,
Great.
it's a residential area, keep that house as residential.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. I am Susie Plater. My address is 687 East 124th Street. I've been a resident there for over 60 years. We do our best to keep that neighborhood street safe. And the mayor talks about revitalizing the neighborhood. As Anthony said, they came back. They put a lot of money in the houses. I have a disabled sister. I have a partner that's disabled within the house. I'm not mentioning we have to work. We got to say what because we feel we're strong. I thought that maybe it's not the safest place. We have called police. Please check the record. Time after time after time. The shooting goes on. But they do not vet their people who they put in there. They do not take care of their property. Our neighbors here cut the grass in the neighborhoods of Piedmont. I have a picture of a house. I live across the street, 3 doors down. I have pictures where we would try to keep grass up. And they would put a no trespassing sign up on their house so that we will not cut the grass. Here's a picture of it. Who wants to live in this? And then 3 doors down from there, we're gonna put a group home in there. 2 years ago, my house got shot up for a neighbor was next door. To this day, I've called my councilman. I called 7 times. Finally, when his secretary answered the phone, and I'm glad you're on record to say this, I said to her, I am trying to get up with my councilman just to let him know what's going on. She said, I told him my house was shot up. My sister was in her room, disabled. The bullet went through the house upstairs, shot her fan, and she was sitting up, she had just laid down. It is not safe here. I have not yet talked to the detective who had come out, took the camera footage. I don't know what has happened. It's not a safe place. But we all look after one another in this neighborhood. We talk about veterans and all the time, and it's a mental possibility that they could be mental. What just happened a month ago when a mental person, not only did he shoot and kill his grandmother, but he shot the officer who was on it. We have to sit together and watch out for our neighborhood and help one another, support one another. And if you have a 100-year-old female and a 95 who stays there by herself, who has people knocking at her door at 3 in the morning. We cannot permit and hopefully allow that. We're all sympathetic about veterans and where they have to stay and there's a place to live. We're not against that. But if you're talking about the neighborhoods and what their vision is for the future, a group home there is not the vision.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Oh, I have one more. The property owner, she doesn't even reside in Cleveland. She lives in Chicago. From her tax mailing address in Chicago. And that's what they used to do.
Please check the BBB for this summer, because I did.
They usually put group homes and, you know, in the neighborhoods, but they don't live in the neighborhood.
2 questions. We're gonna go back to, Ms. What police district are you in?
We're in
Fourth?
fifth.
You're in fifth?
And not only that, I want to say directly across from me was the picture, the photo that I showed that is just a disaster, but since they put, and the homeowners again don't live in the city of Cleveland. They are out of state. No one's lived in those two vacant houses, but I can assure you, if you put the group home, people will start to live in those things, of course.
Thank you, Coach. Ms. Perryman, gonna go back to you. How long has the LLC owned this particular parcel?
So we just attained the property in May of this year. So unfortunately, I can't speak to any of the previous tenants or anything that has previously occurred at the address, or I'm not even aware of anyone who's previously lived there. To say as far as who had any calls or anything like that. So I'm unfortunately that had absolutely nothing to do with us. Um, like I said, it's even with saying the property has been unkept since we took over the property. The grass has been cut. We have a company that comes out and cut it, even though there's no one even physically in the property as of now. We have surveillance cameras that are up all outside of the property as well. And I definitely understand everyone's concerns. And I think one of the things that is keep being said is that that it's it's a residential place. This is a residential group home. So these are just people that want housing. So and everyone is entitled to housing. We don't operate any halfway houses or sober living homes, or I think is what it was previously referenced. So again, unfortunately, like I said, I can't speak to anything that's previously happened as far as like supervision, and someone mentioned, knocking or being outside at certain hours. Like I said, we have staff that oversee and assist with these individuals 24/7, 24 hours a day. So no one is outside or knocking on people's doors or anything outside the hours. There's actually downtimes that basically they're in their rooms after a certain time period is how our structure is with our other homes. So I definitely understand all the concerns and things that have been mentioned, but a lot of them, unfortunately, like I said, I can't speak to, and it had absolutely nothing to do with our company or our LLC, and like I said, I don't know who the property management company has previously had in there.
Okay, great. Ms. Wilson, would you like to ask your typical question?
Ms. Perryman, my question to you is, if you are not approved for this variance, is there any other economically feasible use for this property?
It is not. This is what the property was. We got the property for this usage. So we wouldn't like sublease it or anything like that. This is the sole use of for the property.
No, I understand you're saying you got the property to use as a group home, but my question to you is, if you were not to use it as a group home, is there another way that you could use it that would make the property still rendered economically feasible?
No.
Okay. And when you purchased the home, were you aware that it was not zoned for use as a residential facility?
So no, I was not even aware of the buffering until we down at city planning. And I also someone had mentioned something about it being like the two family that had nothing to do with anything that we or any information given from us. That was done at city planning. who wrote that up. So I don't know whether or not it was ever a two-family dwelling or not. When we went down for permitting, that's the paperwork that was given from how we had it. You know, we just gave them the address, did the permit application. And that's when I found out about the buffering of it being another area, another group home within 1,000 feet.
Ms. Roca?
Yes, sure, I do have a question section for Ms. Leonard, in response to Mr. Darrell Grant, yes, Mr. Grant's comment as to. Oh, Branch, sorry, Mr. Branch.
Should be the mask.
Or the lack of teeth.
Didn't know that. Right. You gave yourself away.
You would have never known.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Branch's comment, with respect to if the variance is granted, to allow for a senior population, but the appellant decides somewhere down the road to start allowing a different type of population, whether it be people with mental illnesses or, children, I guess children is not a good example, another population. My understanding is that that would still be allowable under the zoning variance if were approved today. Is that correct?
Yeah, two things. First of all, to your question and to the gentleman's question, this is for a variance for a residential facility group class 2 through the state of Ohio, state license. We don't dictate their clientele. You know, their clientele could be everything from those with developmental disabilities to mental disabilities, seniors, young men aging out of the foster program. We can't dictate that. It's a fair housing issue. I know we talk about it, but generally speaking, it's just a residential, state licensed residential facility group home. The other thing I just want to mention is that this house transferred in 2019. That was the last ownership transfer. And by generally when there is any type of transfer, applicants, the owner or the mortgage company or title company will request from us what is known as a certificate of disclosure. That lets you know what the legal use of the property is as established by a record, as well as the legal zoning. And so at the time of 2019, they did pull a certificate of disclosure on May 28th, 2019. And at that time, the legally established use and authorized use of the property was single family and a 2-family. So I just want you all to be aware on the record that the transfer of property happened in 2019 and a certificate of disclosure allowing that whoever was the purchaser of that property to be aware of the legal authorized use.
Perfect.
Thank you. And a follow-up to that, during the history of the property, Ms. Kukla mentioned that there was a permit, a rental registration permit pulled in 2022.
Right.
So this question is to Ms. Perryman. Were you testified that you purchased this property in May of this year, but we're not, the last transfer we see is in 2019. There's a disconnect as to that, what's happening there. Ms. Perryman, did you have a renter in this property at any time? Did you pull the rental registration or file for the rental registration, I should say?
No, so we didn't purchase the property. We obtained the property in May. It is still under the same leasing company that purchased it. So she is correct. The owner of the property does live in Chicago. She's been the owner. She still owns the property. We are leasing the property.
For the operation of the group home.
Correct, from Melina, Miss Turkpence is the owner. And yes, she lives in Chicago. So she's still the owner of the property. We lease the property for the operation of a group home.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. So the owner, yeah, that fills in all the blanks.
Yep.
Very confusing otherwise.
Yep, yep. And thanks for looping back to that rental.
Yes, thank you.
All right, anything else for it? Mr. Fahey, do you have anything else to add? Ms. Leonard, did you cover?
Saber Bay representing city planning. We also had Ariel Washington, the neighborhood planner online.
All right.
If she'd like to express any further comments. I know that typically, cases of this nature, so this neighborhood is oversaturated, as you can see in this map, by existing residential facilities. It's also mid-block, and for those two reasons, we generally don't support variances of this nature. All I have to say, but if Ariel Washington has anything extra, I'll let her chime in as well.
Ms. Washington?
Good morning, everyone. Ariel Washington, Northeast Planner. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I don't want to duplicate, but I want to express the same thing that Mr. Bay and Mrs. Leonard spoke of earlier. I would recommend that they have the in-person meeting with the councilman, to also have a meeting with the residents. I understand the residents here are not all of the residents, but do their due diligence. I apologize. There is an oversaturation, so there was a pause and thought for support for this, but we can't really move forward, especially with a plan. The young lady, Ms. Perryman, spoke of how there's a time that residents have to be in the facility. They're not allowed outside. If those schedules and things could be provided to the board and to the community to at least see, but I would like more due diligence to be had before the board makes or decides on this today.
Great, thank you. Okay. All right, any further questions or comments, board? Okay. All right. And we had no further communication, right, Ms. Coupon? That's correct, right? Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make it.
All right.
And here recent testimony for today from all parties present. I move that we deny calendar number 24-108.
Have a second, please?
I would second.
Okay, super. Ms. Kumla, if you want to call the vote?
Ms. Holder?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Rocca?
Yes.
Ms. Bale?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-108 is denied and will be read next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter. Thank you.
Folks, I want to say to you, because it looks like you really are an informal block club. Are you aware that every police district has a monthly community meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I have
So,
a lot.
yeah, so I would plug yourselves into that, and I think you might benefit from getting a formal designation as a block club, so you can go through the police district and the community relations representative for that police district. Okay, because I think getting yourself to the point that you made about all the rules and everything, you might get yourself some heightened supervision, some heightened patrol if you are organized in that manner. Okay, I'm in the second or in the first district, and that's something that we've done that's been helpful. So just off the record, sort of not related to the case, but advice for you folks. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, I just like to say, on the record, that I came with little faith that we'd be able to stop this. You know, when I read this, I thought it was pretty much a deal done and it was just gonna get stamped. So I appreciate the diligence that the board members and the city planning, to hear them.
We're always glad to have members of the community come before us, whether in opposition or in support, because it's your voice is their value. So, and
You
we,
restored my faith.
And the second point is very important, that impacts, for the use of the point for in perpetuity, so.
Right.
Right.
I think that, a lot of people don't realize how important it is to their daily lives, so it's great to
People care about.
Not just us. Right. So, typically when these things happen, we'd like to have the council person meet and have community meetings, sometimes numerous community meetings, have the CDC involved, things like that. So again, thank you for your time. I'm gonna ask you to leave. We've got to move on with our day. But again, thank you for making the trip downtown. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well. They are banned in cities, but they have unspoken dress code. All right. Okay, we're on to, I'm assuming you gentlemen are for the last case, and you've been waiting patiently.
That was very interesting.
It's always interesting.
On the place.
Yeah,
People think it's boring at PZA.
it is never a dull moment.
It was good to see people of the community get together
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
That's a good.
Yeah, we love when people come in. I mean, sometimes it's in support, sometimes it's in opposition. But it's really the power of, you know, organizing and the community voice. Which- Yeah, yeah. So, right, exactly. We'll go ahead and read.
All right. Our last case is calendar number 24-091. This is at 2489 Professor Street. Chad Pizza, owner, proposes to construct a new three-family dwelling on a 4,049 square foot lot in B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, which there are two. This case was postponed from July 8th, 2024. No testimony was taken at that time. It was postponed due to a scheduling conflict. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Wilson for you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. I will swear in all who are present to testify in this case. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
New Jim Kusa, 3069 Westchester Trail, Pennsylvania.
And just spell your name.
Last name Kusa, AUSA.
I do, I'm Steve Ciceretto. CICIRE, architect for the project, 70 Park Place.
Yeah.
I do. My name is Mitchell Kusa, MITCHELL, last name Kusa, KUSA. I live at 157 East Meyer Road, Newport, Pennsylvania.
I'm not seeing any hands raised online, so back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. So who is Chad?
Chad is my son.
Okay. He's not here. So are you all party to this then, or?
As the architect, I have the office.
Okay, super. Okay, so you're, he sent props.
So yes.
He sent dad.
He sent that.
Okay, super. All right, what's the history of the property?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail. Then in 1961, it was changed to two-family residential. There are no variances on file, but then the most pertinent information, Madam Chair, is that in 1990, permit was issued to demolish a 2.5-story duplex on this property. That's all that I have.
When was the demo?
1990.
Okay. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Home is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the maximum gross floor area requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, Powell must prove that denying the request will result in unnecessary hardship, particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance. Will provide the appellant with substantial property rights. and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning.
Great, thank you. All right, Mr. Cicerello.
Yeah, right. Very true, too.
Well, you see my first name, I get mispronunciation a lot, so I try to be careful. Go ahead.
So, here is an aerial shot that describes the application, and it is in the Tremont district, and there are other examples in the family district that we're aware of that are actually three-family homes. So, outside of the first addressing the site conditions, you can see it's very similar to other lots in the district, and so the lot actually predated this zoning ordinance, so it's not one that was established. So, proposal we're showing is requires no setback variances, does require variance from lot size and lot coverage. And that state. So the idea of this home is it's actually similar whether it's a two-family or three-family, and sort of more of a question on my how the applicant would figure there's a basement first floor plan that they intend to have a single unit, second floor. It's the third floor would be possibly one dwelling. In our case, we trying to establish it as a second floor, maybe unit. Right. There is on the first floor plan, again, no variances from setback, but we really demonstrate that the three vehicles on each unit could easily park on the property. So in terms of rentability of it, we don't believe that it's significantly different than the other homes in the area have. We know that there are units with 3 stories that, whether legally or not legally, housing 3 families, 2 separate units. No. So what we're asking for is those variances from lot size, setback, that not that lot size, and very exciting building to accommodate the replacement.
Mr. Bay,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
advance to the pretty pictures.
Yeah, so there is an example of 2 homes on either side. You can see the house on the left is significant on the back. It's the first unit has kind of a walk-up patio in the front, with a courtyard effect. Next slide. The side you see the rooftop amenity that would be shared by all the occupants. So they have an outdoor space in addition to the rooftop. So each space has outdoor living and a rooftop patio. Some photos that don't be required to look at the context. This photo, so it's very close to the multifamily district and the commercial district. And so this is a photo looking towards the bottom. In the background is the around the corner from this house is the multifamily units that are a bit higher than what we proposed. So we're trying to do a little bit of hybrid between similar
as I was reading the plans, it looked like the basement unit, based on how the bedrooms were numbered, and the common space was labeled as office. It looked like the first floor and the basement were planned to be the larger of the two units, and the third floor the separate. So, but it sounds like you're planning on having 3 rental units?
Yeah, so the basement and first floor would be the larger, that'd be about 1,800 square feet total. The second floor, and the third floor are just about 1,300 square foot. So that would be how wide it would be. Normally, these type of units, you might have the second and third floor as 80. But because we thought this didn't negatively impact the neighborhood, because we have our own parking, this gives it a little bit more availability to.
So is your intent to rent it out or to use it as 3 rental units? Or is it gonna be owner occupied, or what's the plan?
Yeah, Chad, right now, is working out of town, probably out of town, but he is coming.
Okay, so he'll be residing on site even though he might be working off in some other area, he'll be based. Okay, and so is it your intent then to rent the basement out?
That
As
would be
well
one-
as the third, as whatever floor he chooses not to occupy?
Yes.
All right.
In theory, the basement and first floor is the unit.
Okay. All right.
And he doesn't intend to use this as a Airbnb.
No.
Okay, all right. I mean, because it, from when I read the plans, it looked like it was planned for, you know, potential family growth or something like that.
Yeah, well, certainly.
But that we're always concerned, as to Ms. Roberts' question, we're always concerned
Yeah.
about the, particularly in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Chad also, right now, regards to the right. 2-story, that's on the highway behind. So once again, just wants to see what's going on in the neighborhood, and wants to upgrade. Love the neighborhood, you got state plan, staying, build a new facility.
Okay.
Once again, they're gonna rent. Oh. It's like floor, down one right.
Okay.
7 houses right around the corner.
All right, and so it sounds like there's a wedding in the plan, so they may,
Don't say it too loud with the wife not to be in here.
okay, all right,
She's waiting for that date.
okay, all right. All right.
We're on the record, so.
All right.
And then I have a question, Madam Chair. I know it's not a variance today, but it probably looks kind of tight. Can you just tell us about that?
Well, it may be just great graphic, but I did want to just demonstrate, like, you can see there's probably, when we get into that, construction documents. Site element, there is room to, say, to the south, and sort of the house. The idea was that we could park vehicles and still get like a 9 by 20 spaces, and then still get right.
So this could change.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Sort of the concept to make sure that.
Okay, my thanks to Ms. Roca for bringing up the parking issue, because again, in looking at the plans, I had the same thought. And very often in these sorts of situations, particularly in a dense community like this, we like to see a permeable surface rather than paved. And I think that would lend itself really well to this application. Yeah, that way you'd have essentially a motor courtyard that would meld right into landscaping. Would you be amenable to that?
Absolutely.
All right, because I think that would be a condition that we'd like to see happen as part of, any approval that we can go forward with.
Yeah, I would know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know the summer street in that.
Yeah, that's generally the purview of housing design.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
we don't know. That's really design.
Right.
So,
We have, and it's, you know, particularly in this neighborhood and a couple of the others where it's really dense. So it's just something that we've asked them if they would be willing to do, and he is, so you can go ahead and, you know, it's that option.
You can make suggestions.
Yeah, you can make suggestions,
Yeah.
that's correct.
So,
That was one of our requirements, as far as my son and I, in regards to parking, right now, all that is, right there, no parking at all. So that was part of the stipulations, the architect, we definitely got in parking, we're gonna do this, we need parking, so once again, there are just, I don't just run that, it's, so the cars, so.
Right.
Great things.
Yeah, so you've heard our suggestion and it's certainly not a variance that you do today, but it was, I was curious about just how.
Well, we understand that, I mean, totally understand the human area.
right,
And we think it's a big benefit of running this community that has the ability to park as a hospital. So that's just, that's.
right, it gives you, it definitely gives you off-street parking and, you know, selected vehicles for probably.
And I mean, Professor's the most popular street in Vermont, so there's
Never park.
never a parking there.
Right.
Madam Chair, my question. If you don't have a three-family home, you're still in that.
I believe there is. I mean, I think that use could be developed family, but physical alteration wouldn't necessarily happen. Necessarily, maybe we just make that more useful. And it's a single, the problem is that because of the nature of the user that like Fremont, like we believe that we don't need to large families. So, three-bedroom unit, or we're not targeting families. So, you know, young folks and people, yes, they want to be part of the city life. We see that more as a target. Reasons too bad. Some of those may be home office with a phone back.
Right.
So the number of occupants won't necessarily decrease, but with COVID, it just gives us more flexibility.
And then I have one follow-up question, with respect to the area of variance that you need. It's your testimony today that the difficulty you face is that the zoning code came after the, land.
I would say that the lot is not conformed with. And this way that we make it. Like, by we allow. Same. But it's very similar to the other lots, so it's consistent with all the other lots.
Thank you for clarifying. It looks like Ms. Fergonis is trying to get her.
Right, right. No, she's not smart. Jonas, are you live with us? Do we have her? All right, we're gonna go ahead and, we'll swear you in real quickly and then you can make a statement.
All right, I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. This is Donna Gregonis with Tremont West Development Corporation, and our address is 2406 Professor Avenue. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Board of Zoning Appeals. So yes, I added in the comments, I said, I just wanted to note that, while the community is very walkable, the context here is that there are a lot of issues with parking along this specific part of the neighborhood. But another thing is, the neighborhood itself has been pretty adamant about making sure that people doing new construction are almost at 1-to-1 per unit, at least. So, and another issue which has been huge in this neighborhood, are Airbnbs. And I just want to make sure that you guys aren't planning to do Airbnb here, as like a 3-unit Airbnb every single floor. That would probably raise some issues as well. Thank you.
I think Ms. Dragonis, you came on after that question was asked by Ms. Roca, and for the record, if you want to respond to Ms. Dragonis.
Yes, this home will definitely not be the RV home used as an office, right? Basically, it's a rental and a living space for my son.
Long-term rental, not short-term.
Right.
Right now, he's been signing a 1-year lease, 2-year lease on his present home.
Okay.
And also, I'm not sure, Donna, if you're on your phone or on video, but there are currently plans for at least 1 parking space for each vehicle.
I see that.
Perfect.
Although the parking may be reconfigured, it will still be on the lawn somewhere.
It will be on.
Perfect. Okay. Mr. Ray, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay from Cleveland City Planning. We are supportive of the variances being asked for today. As you know, this administration is supportive of further increasing our density for the city. I don't see any issue with the 3-unit and 2-family dwelling unit district. A lot of these neighborhoods actually some of Fremont has also acquired some more density of this nature. So it's contextual, and as was already stated, the lots within this neighborhood are already pretty substandard. So usually every new development opportunity to fit 20th century standards and kind of wants and needs of these families who are creating new homes always have to ask for this variance. We don't see any issues with variances asked for today.
Super. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, just one last thing. Have you spoken to your, if your son has spoken to the neighbors? Are they aware that this is?
I can't answer that. I don't know that.
We have not been blocked up, really do.
He's been in contact with the council in regards to what his plans are.
Okay.
This is the estimate he spoke of.
And Ms. Cooper, we don't have any correspondence. I didn't see anything in the packet.
No, we do not. And we did notify.
And there was a zoning placard put out for the house.
Correct. Yep, I put out the signs. Actually, they've been out there for a while now, but this case has been postponed, and Ms. Kukla sends out the mailings.
Yes. And see letters in the mail, the neighbors, the owners of the property. There were approximately 27.
So no news is good news for you.
Right. And we've, the appellant has answered the questions of Ms. Gomez, so I think that's, so I'll entertain a motion.
So having the testimony today, I'm approval of calendar number 24-09.
Great, would you call the roll, please?
Roca? Yes. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Holter?
Yes.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-091 is granted. It will be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter, but feel free to contact our office on Wednesday for this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for spending the morning with us. Good luck with your project.
We're here for a long time.
All right.
Take care.
Whole business, calendar number 2499, 24102, items 1 and 2 without objection, board?
Not objection.
Okay. Ms. Kugler, what's the little tilde after the parenthetical initials?
We received the updated drawings.
Okay.
Now, you received that in the mail, and the landscaping now, the fencing that you were looking for?
This, the Shoreway building?
No, these two credits.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at something.
Yeah, well, we got it, so.
Yeah,
That fulfills what we were waiting for. Okay, and the request for reinstatement?
This is an older one. They're still working on those architectural drawings. They've had issues with the interior layout. So I believe this would be their second, or yeah, no, this would be, they would have received one in 2022 and then two last year, so we're like.
Ms. Kukla, what is our, is there charter state about?
There's nothing in the charter or the code.
Or we can get unlimited.
Typically, we go 3. This would be the 4th. This is also a 10-story apartment.
$1,200 plus six. Shoreway building.
I am sympathetic to their needs, but also I would like just not to go on in perpetuity where they need, it's over a year. So.
Ms. Leonard, do you have any insight on this?
This one at 1200 West 76th Street. This one is where they came back and they're changing the square footage slightly, is that correct? They're reducing the height of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Do they have to come before us again?
they do.
Okay.
They're going a little bit more. I talked about this maybe like 8 or 9 months ago, so, or even 7 months ago, it was July, almost in August, yeah, so about 8 months ago. So I believe that they are increasing the square footage slightly, reducing the height. And so I'm hoping this is the last variance request.
So it's gonna be, so
It's not a variance request.
postponement request and then there will be a subsequent variance.
Right.
We're asking for much time.
Oh, okay, yeah, then maybe that, they may be coming back for.
Actually, I apologize. This is an. It's under the wrong. This is an affirmation of a variance that was granted. This would be, this is not a second request for a variance. We haven't received an application for any changes that have been made. So this person is asking for the additional 6 months. So.
All right, so they're just asking for 6 months. All right, I think that changes things. Are
So there you go,
agreement?
yes, there's no, I did talk to them 8 months ago about they wanted to expand and reduce the.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and they'd be back.
That makes more sense. I just thought they were
I
going to
didn't
do
know
us
if they,
more
I
time.
remember if I had communicated with them.
Okay, all
Yeah, I
right.
apologize.
All right, so they're looking for 6 months, so, without objection, Warren?
No, they're done.
Okay, so without objection, we'll give them 6 months. All right, everybody's here next week, right?
Yes. I am out.
You are out.
And we do have a new member. Mary, do you want us to announce this? Let me announce it. I'll just announce it. His name is Marcus Madison. He has been appointed as of July 23rd. So his name, is Marcus Madison. He's the new member of Board of Zoning Appeals.
And my thought was that we give him some time to acclimate himself and. Yes, and then.
And we've done that before.
What is acclimate meaning?
Right. Yeah, you guys, particularly you might have walked right into it, but, so anyway, I thought we'd give him a little grace. And then if anyone wants to, rotate roles or change up things so that you have, more cross-training and expand your horizons, you would have that opportunity to do that. So. Okay.
Madam Chair, he does have some experience with the government process in general. He's a council person for area.
Former.
Yeah.
He's aware of.
Yeah, so
things like
he
that.
probably won't need much acclimation then.
Great.
And if you want to, you can just have him dive right in. Cause you literally had to run in and sit down.
Well, I will just confirm on the record, then I'll follow up with email. I will be out September 16th and 23rd.
Okay, we got a definite date?
In Canada. Western Canada.
All right,
Also,
so,
very limited access. I'll be in the mountains, the Canadian Rockies with limited access to
just enjoy yourself.
technology.
Just go chill. Have fun with your husband. And Ms. Holzer is off next week, which is,
I'm also out on the 23rd. I will be in
so,
23rd, will definitely keep.
of August
The rest of
or
September.
September.
September,
Yeah.
So September
Yeah.
16th, September 23rd, I will be out, and then I will be out, Ms. Holzer on the 23rd.
Yeah, I'm out next week and on September 23rd.
Yeah, but we were concerned about not having the appointment in time. So we'll still be able to have a quorum.
We'll have.
Yeah. So we'll have a quorum, so that won't affect your ability to schedule. They can choose to postpone if they want to, but we will have a quorum. So bases covered. All right, anything else, ladies?
No.
All right,
Ready to adjourn?
we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.